Hey guys, it's Cece and I'm here with my second video of the day to talk about my April TBR. So I have a very special theme for April. Presumably it's in the title, so you already know what it is, but my goal in April is to read no YA, so I'm calling it No YApril. I'm so proud of that. It's not that good, but I love it. I wanted to present this challenge to myself because I tend to focus on YA most of the time, and I love YA books, but it means that some middle grade and some adult ends up sitting on my shelves for a large amount of time because I focus on other books. So April is all about reading adult and middle grade, and let's just jump into talking about the books that I want to read this month. So first I want to talk about the two middle grade books that I'm hopefully planning to read at some point in April. The first of those is Aberdeen's Letter to the World by Ashley Herring Blake. This is some well-loved queer middle grade. It's about Aberdeen after her family's home has been destroyed by a tornado, which has left her family of 5 displaced, and Ivy is more and more feeling ignored in this situation, but she is also very concerned because her journal, which was full of drawings of girls holding hands, has gone missing. And then one day those drawings start appearing one by one in her locker, along with like notes telling her that she should open up about her identity, and Ivy really starts to hope it is another girl that she has a crush on. I've only ever read one Ashley Herring Blake before. That is How to Make a Wish, which is one of her YA books. She has been getting a lot of praise for her middle grade though, so I really want to check it out, especially because so many people adored this book. The other middle grade book that I want to read is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I bought this book a while back, I think for the first round of Witchathon, which I wound up not participating in, but this was the group read. I thought I would participate in it, and then it didn't happen, but I really want to read this book. So this book is set in a world where every year people from the Protectorate leave a baby as an offering to the witch in the woods, which they're hoping will keep her from terrorizing their town. But this witch, who is named Zan, is actually a very kind witch. She takes these babies, takes care of them, and then delivers them to loving families on the other side of the forest. And then one year, a baby is given to Zan, and she accidentally feeds the baby moonlight instead of starlight, which gives the baby magical abilities. So she kind of becomes Zan's ward, and this sounds really lovely and delightful, and so many people love it. It's got a Newbery medal. It's about a young witchy girl and it's so cute. The witch shares her home with a wise swamp monster and a perfectly tiny dragon. Adorable. I can't wait to read this. I also have 4 adult books that I am tentatively hoping to get through at some point in April. The first of those is going to be my patron chosen book for April. I want to give a shout out to my patrons for choosing a book I am so excited to read in April, but namely I wanted to thank my 6 librarian patrons. My librarian patrons are of course Babette, Rox at aspiring_rocks on Instagram and Twitter, Corey, Christine, Rebecca, and Jenna. Thank you all so much for making the videos that I do possible. On my Patreon every single month, patrons have the chance to vote on a book I will be reading the following month, and for April, my patrons chose Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am beyond excited about this. I actually pre-ordered Daisy Jones and the Six and didn't get a chance to read it in March, so I am thrilled that I get the chance to read it in April. Oh, this is another one of my most anticipated releases of the entire year. It's about Daisy, who is coming of age in the late 60s, and also about the band The Six, who is like gradually gaining an audience. So many people loved this book. It's getting the same level of hype, I would say, that Evelyn Hugo did, and Evelyn Hugo was my favorite book that I read in 2018, so I'm prepared to, like, die when I read this. Fully prepared. I am also planning on reading The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, which is a sci-fi adventure story of sorts, but it is, like, one of the most highly recommended books to me personally. I don't know how often it gets recommended to other people, but I swear people recommend this in the comments of every single video I do. Finally gonna read it. But this is about a character who joins the crew of the Wayfarer, which is a spaceship that is kind of falling apart at the seams, and the crew of the Wayfarer is offered a lot of money in exchange for a life-threatening job. So this is a book about a ragtag space crew that has a crew made up of aliens, of people from all different planets, and there is a central female-female romance. finally happening. It's gonna possibly take me a bit, but I'm very excited. Also on the list is Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. This book was on my top 10 to read in 2019, so I want to get to it mostly because of that. Basically, all I know about this book is what is presented in the movie trailer, and that is, it is about a wife and mother named Bernadette who suddenly goes missing. And then I think possibly this is also about her teenage daughter kind of trying to find her after she goes missing. Putting this on my top 10 to read list was one of my challenges to get me out of my comfort zone. I wanted to read a lot of different voices from a lot of places I don't traditionally reach for, and this is kind of like women's fiction. It's kind of chick lit, and I'm interested. Also, maybe if I read this and like this, I'll go see the movie, because Cate Blanchett is in it, and you know I'll go see anything for Cate Blanchett. And the final book on my TBR for April is The Air You Breathe by Frances de Pontes Peebles. This is a bit of sweeping historical fiction that begins in the 1930s in Brazil, and it follows two women who are enemies, but also one another's inspiration for pursuing music. One of them is also bisexual. I wanted to read this for a lot of time. Maybe it just feels like a lot of time, because this was only released last year, but it just sounds like everything I've ever wanted. It sounds semi-comparable to, like, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo without it just being Evelyn Hugo. It's its own story that comes so highly recommended from people I trust. This was on my list of, like, my top 20 immediate queer TBR that I did in November of last year. I'm gradually trying to make my way through this list, and this was one of the books on there. It's chunky, but I have a feeling I'm going to get into it and absolutely devour it. And that is it for my No YApril TBR. Have you read any of these books? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know if you've already read any of them and what you thought about these various books. I know a lot of people have read Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, Aberdeen, and everyone but me read Daisy Jones in March. So if you have feelings about any of those books, leave them down in the comments below. I look forward to reading them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!